Have you ever felt totally trapped by your textbooks? Like you're a prisoner staring down this long, inescapable sentence of just studying? Well, what if I told you that with a simple shift in how you think and the right set of tools, you can turn that prison into a deep-sea submarine on an incredible voyage of discovery? Yeah, let's dive in.
So this weird phrase, it actually comes from a classic adventure story, and it just perfectly nails a feeling we've all had. You're in a situation that feels like a trap, for sure, but it's also packed with incredible opportunity if you just know where to look. Seriously, think about it. The door to your room closes, the book's open, and that deadline is just looming. It is so easy to feel like you're stuck, with absolutely no way out until the exam is over. You're confined with this mountain of information you have to conquer. But the story I'm about to share, it offers a completely different way to look at it. Okay, so our story kicks off with three guys. A scientist named Professor Aronnax, his assistant Conseil, and this hot-headed harpooner, Ned Land. After a shipwreck, they get captured and brought aboard the most amazing vessel ever created, a mysterious, super advanced submarine called the Nautilus. Now, this prison is anything but ordinary. It's a total technological marvel. We're talking an underwater palace with a huge library, a museum full of priceless sea treasures, and these giant windows looking out into a world no human had ever seen before. So yeah, it's a place of confinement, but it's also a place of unbelievable wonder. The guy in charge of this whole operation is the brilliant, strong-willed, and super mysterious Captain Nemo. He welcomes his new passengers, he's very courteous, but then he lays down one single, unchangeable condition for their journey. That's it. That's the rule. They are now permanent residents of the sea. They can explore all its wonders, use its endless resources, but they can never, ever set foot on dry land again. This is their new reality. And it's right here, in this moment, that our heroes face a critical choice, a choice that, believe it or not, you face every single time you sit down to study. So it all comes down to how they react. You've got Ned Land, the harpooner. He only sees the bars on the window. He feels trapped, he's angry, and every single thought is consumed by rebellion and escape. But then you have Professor Aronnax, the scientist. He sees the incredible view through the window. He realizes he's been given this once-in-a-lifetime chance to explore the deepest secrets of the ocean. Same situation, two totally different mindsets. So how do you become an explorer like Aronnax instead of a prisoner like Ned Land? Well, you need the right tools to navigate the depths of whatever you're studying. It's time to equip your submarine. First up, we've got a simple but, a really powerful tool, the 5-minute rule. We've all been there, right? You feel so overwhelmed and the thought of starting is just too much, so you make a deal with yourself. I'm just going to study for 5 minutes. That's it. Often the hardest part is just starting the engine. Once it's running, you'll be amazed how often you just keep on going. Now, to keep your energy up on a long voyage, you can't just run the engines at full blast the whole time. That's where the Pomodoro technique comes in. You dive deep into your work with intense focus for 25 minutes. Then you surface for a quick 5-minute break to recharge. This little cycle keeps your mind fresh and stops you from burning out. Captain Nemo's submarine was perfectly designed for its mission. Your study space should be too. You need to create a battle environment. This means a specific spot that isn't your bed with good lighting. And this is crucial, put your phone completely out of sight. Seriously. And here's a pro tip. Tackle your most challenging mission, your hardest subject, first when your focus is at its peak. Okay, so you're exploring, you're gathering all this great information, but how do you make sure you don't lose all these treasures you're finding? You need some super memory weapons in your arsenal. Think of it this way. A tourist just kind of glances at the scenery, right? But an explorer actively maps it out. Passive rereading, just looking over your notes again and again, that's being a tourist. It creates this false sense of familiarity, this illusion of knowing. The explorer, on the other hand, uses active recall. They close the book and try to pull the information out of their own brain. That act of testing yourself, that's what forges really strong memory connections. Next up is something called spaced repetition. Instead of cramming a topic for 5 hours straight, you review it for shorter periods over time. So you look at it today, then maybe again in 2 days, then again in a week. This process basically signals to your brain, hey, this information is important. And that helps move it from your fragile short-term memory to the secure vault of your long-term memory. And here's why this works so incredibly well. Right after you learn something, you naturally start to forget it. It just happens. But if you review that material just as the memory starts to fade, you actually make it stronger. each time you review it, you push that forgetting curve further and further out until the knowledge is pretty much permanent.
And hey, there are even more tools for your toolkit. Try the Feynman technique. Basically, if you can't explain a concept to someone simply, you don't really understand it yet. Use mind maps to literally draw the connections between ideas and see the whole picture. And for those really dry facts, use mnemonics. Create silly stories or songs. Trust me, it works.
And that's exactly why those last few techniques are so powerful. Our brains are not wired to remember boring lists of data. They're wired for narrative, for connection, for stories. So when you turn information into a story, you're working with your brain's natural programming, not fighting against it.
So, let's bring it all back together. We've seen how a feeling of being trapped can be totally transformed by curiosity, and we've equipped you with the tools of a deep-sea explorer. It is time to go claim those treasures.
But listen, even the most advanced submarine in the world needs to refuel. And for your brain, that fuel is sleep. Getting 7 to 8 hours isn't lazy. It is absolutely essential. It's during sleep that your brain processes the day's journey. It consolidates your memories and solidifies everything you've discovered.
Ultimately, this is the core idea, the whole shebang. The exact same set of circumstances, a room, a book, a deadline, it can feel like a prison, or it can feel like an adventure. The situation doesn't define the experience. The mindset you bring to it and the tools you use to navigate it, that's what does.
So the choice is yours, really. Are you going to be Ned Land, just fighting against the walls, feeling nothing but anger and frustration? Or are you going to be Professor RNX, peering out that window with curiosity, ready to discover all the wonders hidden in the deep?